You're watching Blue Rising, the home of all things Birmingham City Football Club. My name is Richie Driss.
And I'm Will Brazier. Today we are celebrating one of the greatest days, not just in history, but in my life. It's 15 years since that Carling Cup final at Wembley when we beat Arsenal.
You're on fire today, aren't you?
Yeah, right off them.
Historic show, let's get stuck straight into it. Joining us is the icon, the legend, as per usual, Tommy Mooney. Thank you for coming along. Not only that, we've got a very special guest, a man who can do this.
He couldn't take any chances. Johnson to get there first. And he brings that crowd of players and they score! Against all the odds! Zigic on target! It's Birmingham who take the lead! And the favourite Arsenal, who have a major problem now! When they initially get the flick, is it Roger Johnson, who's normally so powerful in the air, and he does a job for his team?
The greatest moment in Birmingham's history.
That's right, it's Roger Johnson.
Yeah!
With a very special friend.
What's
Look
a
at
thing
that.
of
You've done that
beauty?
before. You've
Get
done
that looking
before,
nice and pretty.
Yeah, nice.
There we go.
Do you carry that everywhere with you?
Oh, I'd like to. There's one thing I regret, that not getting a replica made.
I'll do you a good price on that if you want it.
Yeah, I mean, I do want one. I still want one now. So if there's any
Anyone watching?
people that can make one up for me,
We'll
I'll
sort you out. 15 years. Does it feel like 15 years?
It's mental. It's mental. I can't believe where the time goes. I always think back to when I started at Wickham. The older lads would say, "Look, enjoy it. It goes in a flash." I'm like, "Yeah, whatever, mate. I'm young and it goes." Moons will tell you,
I wasn't telling you lies at the time.
just disappears. Like I literally cannot believe where a 20-year career has gone. So yeah, mad.
But you left your mark. You got the assist for Zigic's goal on that day, the first goal. First of all, who did you beat in the air to win that header from the corner?
At the final, Koscielny was marking me.
He had a rough day that day.
He had a
didn't
really bad day.
Barry Ferguson was at him later on with the old
Yeah,
slap round the
I'm
back,
pretty
yeah?
sure it was
Yeah.
Koscielny marking me.
Yeah, so you beat him in the air to provide the assist for Zigic.
Yeah.
When the ball hit the back of the net, what did you think? What can you remember?
I was like, wow, we've just gone 1-0 up. Literally, look, we were underdogs, massive underdogs. But we knew amongst ourselves, if we're at it, everyone's at it, not 7, 8, you only need 11 people at it. We'll stand a chance and be there come 90 minutes. So I was surprised, but look, we were a threat from set plays. So no, it was to go 1-0 up. We were very renowned for that. If we went 1-0 up, we were then hard to score against. We kind of had a thing in the years I was at Blues. We were tough to score against. We had a solid unit. Everyone knew their roles. So to go 1-0 up, I thought, okay, see where this goes.
Was there a bit of a sense of injustice as well, which like spurred you on? Because obviously when Bowyer goes through, gets wiped out, offside, which wasn't offside,
Well
we all know
onside.
that. Does that sort of like almost, there's the determination there, but is that another extra like we ain't going to be done over here?
Yeah, look, in the moment, you guys
know,
got to see it. We didn't know how blatant that was. I'll be honest, I'm glad it went how it went.
Yeah.
Because if they did go down to 10 men, who's to say that the result would have been the same?
Yeah.
And it was also nicer to have a even playing field. Oh, they went down to 10 men, that's why you won. I wouldn't want that. So no, we beat them man for man on the day.
And speaking of man for man, that was a hell of a squad you faced against as well. Like Jack Wilshere, it's fair to say, maybe Thomas Rosicky, Van Persie as well, Arshavin as well, and you had them all in your pocket.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Arsenal, and they massive club, great players, good history. So yeah, it made it even better that we've come up against one of the biggest sides in the country and Europe to go and toe to toe for 90 minutes in a major final and come out winners in 90 minutes. Yeah, it's special.
So when they get the equaliser, what's going through your head?
Yeah, it was. I think it was right before half time, wasn't it? So, yeah, there were big rows at half time, but I thought, do you know what? It ain't bad. We'd have took 0-0 at half time, so 1-1 at half time is okay. But yeah, we had huge rows at half time because the goal was sloppy. Very.
Were you rowing at half time?
Yeah.
You like
me?
A row at half time,
yeah,
don't you?
we've had that. We've got a story about that, but let's keep it on blues. Yeah, you're throwing me now.
Who were you round with?
Yeah, half time. What was it at half time?
Yeah, so me, Fergie, his header was not good. I felt he should have cleared it further away, and he kind of headed it sideways.
Was it Wilshere hit the bar, didn't it? You mean the header off hitting the bar? Yeah.
Yeah. And just how the whole goal came about, we had a throw-in in their half, right up in the final third, and it just, they broke on us, and it was a sloppy goal to concede, very unlike us. So the gaffer didn't really need to. We had that many players that would voice their opinion, i.e. Fergie, me, Kari, Bose. It kind of just, that was the team talk, and then the gaffer just said, right, that's enough, and then said his bit. And
there's a lot of senior pros in that dressing room though, isn't there?
It helps, doesn't it? I think the gaffer was great, don't get me wrong, but he let the kind of lads figure it out and be the voices rather than just everyone sat there and not. It showed we cared. We were determined to go out and get results on a weekly basis, and Kari was great at that. Like, what a captain. He trained how he played, he demanded excellence. So yeah, learnt a lot off him, to be fair. But yeah, when Kari spoke, the gaffer spoke, I had the respect of the change room.
Because you're synonymous for having that partnership with Scott Dan around that time, but obviously he wasn't playing that day. We were speaking about Jedinak sort of off air. He was absolutely superb as well that day.
Well, look, he had big boots to fill.
Yeah.
Me and Scotty were doing well. Obviously, he got injured in the first leg of the semis, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
So to come in and do as well as he did, he deserves a lot of credit, Martin, and did well in the second leg and the final. Yeah, fair play to him. Yeah, 'cause as I said, he had big shoes to fill. Let's
go to the winning moment, because like you said earlier, I think if you could script it to end that way, it's the perfect ending, isn't it? Obviously, it goes up there, the mistake. Just talk me through that 90 seconds, 2 minutes of the ball going in the back of the net, the jubilation, the scenes. Is it still strong with you now? It's a weird feeling. You kind of just, your mind goes, wow, like, where am I? What's happening? It's kind of a out-of-body experience. But I knew once we'd scored, we could have stayed there for a year. They would not have scored. We thought, right, this is our chance. The senior lads on the pitch were demanding in certain areas of the pitch, and we knew we were going to win the game when I did. I thought, there's not a prayer that they will score. And thankfully you didn't need to wait a year. It was what? Seconds between the goal and the final whistle. Yeah, I think we still had to. It was about 7 minutes, 8 minutes total from when we scored. Yeah, I think it was 86. Martin nearly scored again, didn't he? He went nearly round the keeper at the end. Yeah, I think it was about 8 minutes. I think 86th minute was the goal. Probably felt like 80 minutes. And then 4 or 5 added on. Did it tie in a little bit as well? Because at that time they were like, there's a lot of pressure on them to get a trophy over the line, wasn't it? So when you got that goal, was that almost like that's their mentality done now? Like, no one saw this coming? Yeah, shocked. I bet they were like, wow, it's going to happen again. I think they had a bit of history of getting to finals and not winning. So yeah, they were under pressure.
I think that the way they behaved, they put themselves under even more pressure. I thought they were very disrespectful to us as a club and a squad and a team.
How so? Have you got like an example you can?
Yeah, just how they were behaving on the day. I think they asked the FA if Fabregas could go up and lift the trophy even though he wasn't playing. We caught wind of that. Not turning up in suits, in track suits. Just, we didn't like it. It galvanised us massively. We had some horrible lads in there who don't like being disrespected, and it just made us even more angry. So yeah, fair play to them. It helped us.
At the time, we had an owner, Carson Young. I've spoke to Ben Foster before about him and his impact on the day. Was he around that day? Did he have many wise words for you, or?
Not really. I'll be honest. I don't really remember seeing him. No. It was a unique setup. The board, and the lads and the staff were just, not that there was a separation.
Yeah.
It was one of them though. It was a weird time with them owners. Very weird time. Don't want to badmouth them, but look, we just got on with what was in front of us. We had a good, tight squad. Yeah. Good staff. Yeah, I mean, we must have been up there. I think I remember seeing Peter Panu.
Yes, Peter Panu.
Yeah,
that's a flashback.
You talk about scoring the goal and then having to settle it out to the final whistle. I was in the stadium that day. I went down with a group of other former players. It felt like a long time from the goal.
It did.
Just that final whistle. Sometimes I felt as a player when you win something, it's almost a relief as much as elation. How did you feel?
Yeah, that I didn't really know what to do. I was just running around looking for my closest lads in the team, Kari, Bose, but it was just ended up sprinting up the other end of the pitch to our fans and just cuddling whoever was in my way. But it is a weird. I try and think back now to how I felt. It's impossible. It's so hard to explain because your mind's just like, what has just happened? Like literally, what has just happened?
The celebrations.
Yeah.
Well, that was, again, this is what I mean about the board and the lads. There was no party, no hotel like organised.
Yeah.
I played in the FA Cup final for Cardiff in 2008. Win, lose, there was all the families back to the hotel. We just have a get together and a party. There was nothing in place for families to come and see their loved ones. Some got back on the coach. A few of us went into London.
Nice. Was that a good night?
It was a very good night.
Yeah.
And the day after, and I think the day after,
nice.
we had I think the gaffer said come in Thursday, so yeah, we what was that, on a Sunday, the game?
Yes.
Would have been, wouldn't it? So yeah, we had a good go for Sunday, Monday and a bit of Tuesday.
But you still got games to play, haven't you? It's not like the end of the season.
No,
games to play.
We did, and one of my major regrets in my career that 6 games to go, we needed 1 point, and we lost all 6. Just you couldn't make that up. And maybe we were a bit complacent, thinking, we'll get a result. But as the games kept going and we're losing, it was squeaky bum time come the end, and that what happened. But to go down with 39, 40 points, that's unheard of. And I think we probably thought we were safe.
Yeah.
And we weren't.
Roger, the man in charge that day was Alex McLeish. Did good. Did some other things later on in his career. That day he was in charge. What was he like as a manager?
Loved him. Not a bad word to say about him. Be forever grateful for giving me my opportunity to play in the Premier League. Took a gamble on a championship player. So no, that's one reason. But he understood me, he got the best out of me. He had a centre-half mindset, and yeah, look, I wasn't easy to manage, but he managed to just have the understanding of how I was, and I understood how he was, and it worked. He got the best out of me, and probably had my best playing days under him. So
you need that, don't you? Sometimes as a player, you need that relationship with the manager and his staff, because you want to be right on your match day, and some let you just.
Yeah, he let me be me. Like I said, I was hard to manage. Never wanted to come off if I was injured. I wasn't a big fan of disrespecting your manager, but he didn't mind me having the row and took it in the right way, and I did. I knew when I crossed the line and would address that afterwards, but he didn't mind me maybe swearing at him and him swearing at me, and we've got that sort of relationship. So no, it was a great relationship. We're still in touch now, and we hopefully forever will. But yeah, not one bad word to say about him.
Roger mentions keeping in touch with Alex McLeish. We've kept in touch with him. We've got a chat with him about that amazing day right now.
We're now joined by Alex McLeish, who joins us on Blue Rising. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. Obviously, we're going to dive straight into what was a historic occasion, the 2011 League Cup final. What are your memories of that monumentous day?
Yeah, well, when you were playing against a great Arsenal team, and we certainly weren't favourites for that one. So we had to have a little bit of a strategy because Arsenal had, I think Wenger had changed his kind of tactics to get fullbacks forward. I mean, he was a big lover of fullbacks ending up playing as wingers, and the wingers were inverted wingers, so they would go inside. And so we made a big plan to try and stop the effectiveness of that. And thankfully, we curtailed them very, very well. And in the end, I think we deserved the victory.
Alex, sorry, I was just going to say, that team, you thought like bringing it together of like, there were so many, we were speaking about Stephen Carr, who maybe was on the verge of retirement, the other sort of professionals maybe later on in their career mixed with that youth as well. Was that almost the perfect blend for going up against an Arsenal side like that?
Yeah, we had to choose the team, the squad carefully, and I wasn't able to go into a very high market, but the players that I bought, I was very, very aware of and their quality, and I felt that they would rise to the occasion. They had that quality in them. Our tactics were very good for the game. It suited everybody. We worked on it very hard. We had a whole week to work on the team and the way we would play against Arsenal, stopping their quality and also asserting our own kind of strengths to the game as well.
They equalised just before half-time in a goal that Roger Johnson just said that none of the team were happy with, which made for, from what I understand, quite a heated half-time team talk from the team and from yourself. What are your memories of that?
Yeah, I think the boys were a little bit, angry about the way they lost the goal, and well, they blamed themselves, so they took responsibility for it, and I had to interrupt them actually starting to fight with each other and tell them that, look, we've got 45 minutes to go and try and win this blooming cup. I better not swear, but let's win this cup, guys. Forget the arguing. It's done. What's done is done, and we have to go out there, adhere to the way that we have played in the first half in general, and I'm sure that you'll get a breakthrough at some stage in the game. We had I think in the first half we might have had a penalty claim turned down. I can't remember. It's way back, the old memories, but I certainly remember the way that we played, and as I said, we stopped Arsenal's strength of the fullbacks playing as wingers and the guys coming inside, Stevie Carr, Ridgewell doing a brilliant jobs in the fullback positions, and the centre-backs taking care of the Arsenal's deadly centre forwards.
Alex, we talk about some of the names there that's on the team sheet, and in that dressing room, a lot of senior pros, a lot of strong characters. Did you have to manage them differently for the cup run?
We kind of, I think that the cup run in itself, I think it was at West Ham in the semi-finals, and you know, we come up against very good teams, and the thing that I really remember is that we had a lot of time to prepare, because you know, in the Premier League and during the season, you're like Saturday, Wednesday, and sometimes a Wednesday or a Tuesday, and you're playing again on a Saturday, and you don't get a lot of time with the players, you know, working them in a single game strategy. Certainly we have habits that we want to adhere to the whole season. But then for this special cup final, I remember reading a book by Johan Cruyff, and he said it stands to reason that when you come up against a team of higher quality than you, that you have to have a strategy to stop that quality and assert your own opinion on the game, and your own opinion on the players that you have and the strength that they can play at. And you know, that was in my mind, and it stuck very well with me. It resonated really well, that having read that book about Johan Cruyff.
So we spoke to Roger about how he felt when they got the equaliser. What was your thoughts? Were you still thinking we can go on and win this?
Yeah. I still felt that we played so well in the first half. The players did everything that I asked of them. And I said, listen, nothing changes, you know, that nothing changes in the tactics. Arsenal still play the way that I've told you, the way they play. To stop their fullbacks and the wingers, dominating the game. And, you know, we had a great leader in Barry Ferguson in central midfield, a great Scottish international. And, you know, Barry really marshalled the centre of the midfield well. And we just stuck to, I said, listen, you'll get a breakthrough there. Well, we've got the quality in the team. Okay, in the end, we brought Obafemi in the last few minutes, and him getting the winner was, I think, justifiable for the whole game. I felt that we deserved to win. Arsenal had a lot of the ball, of course. They would have a lot of it.
And it goes again towards the towering Zigic. Oh, confusion, and Martin has surely scored the winning goal for Birmingham City. What a finish! What a final! What a celebration! What a shock!
In terms of a man that launched that ball forward for Obafemi to get on the end of it, that was Ben Foster, who was also man of the match that day. We're speaking to him on Friday. But what was he like to work with, and obviously such a great performance that day?
Oh, fantastic. You know, Ben was a brilliant character, great goalkeeper for us, and you know what, man of the match, as you rightly say. It wasn't an onslaught by Arsenal. They had their moments and didn't take them, and Ben was there as the rear guard in the last ditch, and the goalkeeper made a great performance, you know, in that particular day. Brilliant. Ben was brilliant, and then of course getting him up to take the free kick, you know, for the winning goal was that wasn't a tactic, you know, but Ben, you know, was aware of time running out and to go into extra time. Then that was the reason the big man just took advantage himself. So it was a great piece of ingenuity from the goalkeeper.
Obviously, the goal goes in, 2-1 up, still a few minutes left, which must have felt like a few years for yourselves involved. What are your memories when that final whistle finally went? What are your memories of that moment, if any?
Well, honestly, I was so overwhelmed. The first thing I thought was to turn and shake Arsene Wenger's hand. So that, you know, that was. But that moment, I had to try and get my faculties right. I said, have we really won this? And the Birmingham, I'm just looking up at the end of the Blues fans, and it was absolutely brilliant. And to see the happiness of the Birmingham people who haven't won a trophy for a long time, to beat the mighty Arsenal in the Carling Cup final was just a joy to behold.
Just for you personally, where obviously hugely successful playing and coaching career, where does it rank for you?
Oh, it's up, right up there. It's right up. I won a treble against in the year against Celtic. You know, which was my boyhood team. It was Rangers. I played all my career with Aberdeen, but you know, winning that treble was quite amazing. And then to do it with a team who were ranked way outsiders was absolutely an enormous. I just felt enormous pride, and really fantastic for the Birmingham supporters, you know. So it was important for them to get something, and after a long drought of trophyless seasons.
Alex, I just wanted to chat on one of my favourite players from the time, Nicola Zigic. We were chatting to Roger about him. Roger described him as unique. How would you describe him during your time there?
Yeah, well, I brought him to the club, and you know, we thought we'll use him in a certain way. And I mean, 6'7", you know, so it's not as if you're wanting the big guy to be darting about and going, taking people on and dribbling past people. His strengths were his strengths, and you know, we used him perfectly. That wasn't the only game he scored a valuable goal, and there was a few others when, you know, from set pieces as well, and even on the deck, he was, you know, he was a decent player. But we said, look, you're 6'7", so we have to take advantage of that, the big man, and we certainly did that in the cup final against Arsenal. But you know, he did it in other games, and you know, it was a great signing for us. I thought that it was, you know, just we had the centre back, central midfield, the spine of the team was fantastic. The goalkeeper, as you know, was brilliant, absolutely incredible goalkeeper. So the spine of the team was very, very important to us, and certainly for that cup final. And we lost a couple of them, you know, which culminated in disappointment in the league. But you know, having the team that we had in the final was absolutely brilliant. That team, if I was able to maintain that for the whole season, we'd have been okay.
Just finally, Alex, obviously it's been 15 years since that special day. Is it chats like these and chats that you've had previously just so special to you to remind you of what a special day it was?
Yeah, great. It's great when, you know, I'm here in Wimbledon. I was walking to the shops, and there was a white van man had passed, and he suddenly stopped, went down his window and shouted, "Alec McLeish, you gave me the greatest day of my life." That's my best attempt at a Birmingham accent, you know. And that says, "Oh, thanks, mate. Thanks for remembering." So that was quite an amazing little moment. But brilliant, fantastic for the fans.
Perfect. Alex, thank you so much for your time. It's been great taking a trip down memory lane, especially for me. It's one of the greatest days in my life as a fan.
In my life.
That's it, yeah. I'm not from Cardiff, but close enough. Great to speak to you, and thanks again.
Oh, thanks, boys. Cheers.
Cheers, Alex.
Cheers, Alex.
Thank you.
Cheers, Gapper.
Back to the final though. In terms of on the day, was there sort of the matchups that you had during the game that you thought you were getting the better of early on in terms of like who you were defending up against?
Yeah, look, well, I'd come up against Van Persie the year before, and in that season, yeah, hated me and I hated him. Like, he just thought I was nuts. But I based my game on, look, heading, tackling, blocking, talking, and being horrible. And I don't think they understood the mindset of that.
It's a different mentality.
It is.
I understand what you're saying, but that's like old school.
Old school. I was brought up on that. It's not that anymore, and I don't regret being that way. That made me have a 20-year career. I wasn't great at football, but I did my job well and perfected my attributes, which was wanting to win, talking, organising, and defending, blocking, head, tackle, and that was my job. And give it to someone 10 yards away who's better than me at football.
You were doing all of that. Those jobs that you did got you that medal to go around your neck. Have you brought the medal in?
I have indeed. Yep, I have indeed. There she is.
Have a look at that, Rog.
Open it up for us.
I think it's still got champagne all over the box.
And you've got your match-worn shirt as well with you.
Yes,
Has it ever been washed? Does that definitely still smell of champagne?
No, it did get washed. It did get washed.
Oh, look at that. And you are willing to take a price on that, Rog, if I give you a...
Yeah, there's a bit of mud on the back. But yeah, there she is. Yeah, it's not up for sale.
You can actually see a bit of Van Persie tears on that, actually.
Yeah.
So it's actually been washed into the shirt.
So no, good times, great times to go and win a major after watching them growing up. I was heartbroken after the FA Cup one, thinking that's my chance. I'll never get a chance at a major final ever again. Thankfully, I was lucky enough to get it 3 years later and win. So yeah, I've seen both sides of it, and yeah, something I'll hold dearly to the day I die.
Can I just talk to you about the running as well? Because I mean, to get to Wembley as well, there were some absolutely monumental moments. None better than a quarter-final at St Andrews against the other team across the city. That night, Tommy was telling us stories about trying to get out of the car park.
Yeah.
But I mean, let's just go to the ball up in the air, looping over the top of Brad Friedel's head in front of the Tilton.
Yeah.
What was that night like?
Mad game. It was that night was. That was the one when they were throwing the flares. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Just mental atmosphere. Mental atmosphere. And to beat. Will that hammer them or
we'll bleep
Oh, you can hammer them, but we'll bleep the name out.
Okay. Well, look, to beat the scum on the route to the final just makes it even better, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And the semi-final as well, was it 2-1 in the first leg, 3-1 win, turning it around like that as well?
Yeah. I mean, the semi-final second leg for me is literally that much behind the final.
Right.
Like, what a night to be 3-1 down and to come back and win and go through. Just, that is the noisiest I think I've ever heard in a stadium. When the one when we equalised, two when we got the winner, it was just frightening noise, frightening.
You touched a little bit on your defensive partnership as well, and we've touched on Ben Foster a little bit as well. How important is it to have a goalkeeper like Ben Foster behind you as a centre-back?
Yeah, we said before the show, I was lucky. I've been lucky over my career with goalies, to be fair. I've always had decent keepers. So Joe in the first season, Fozzie in the second. When I said earlier about 11 lads at it, Fozzie was outstanding that day. Outstanding, and when he was called upon, he was there for us. I think he made a couple of important saves. So yeah, but everyone was at it, like I said, that day, and it was needed.
Funny you should mention Ben Foster, Rog, because we've actually got a brand new podcast launching very soon. Details to come, but here's a sneak peek from that because we speak to Ben Foster. Do you get a little bit jealous it's called Obafemi Martins Day? Because, as mentioned, you did win the man of the match that day.
No, I don't get jealous at all. I'm very thankful to Obafemi for coming on and doing what he did. I watched it, like I say, a couple of days ago, and I still get like, I wouldn't say I cry, but I genuinely get like massive goosebumps and a big sort of like emotion just comes all over me. It's like, because for me, it's like probably the biggest, right up there with my England sort of debut appearance, the biggest moment in my football career.
You've dropped that England one in there early
Got
doors.
to drop the England one in there.
You have gone early.
Yeah, you've gone early doors. Yeah, but it was so special. I watched it back and I just think, oh, that was just like, it was what a moment. It was just that we were such underdogs. Like, there was no chance we were beating Arsenal. Absolutely zero chance. We were 16-1 on the day because my dad put a bet on. He had a bet on of Ziggy to score first and us to win 2-1. He got stupid odds and the bet come in. He was over the moon, but we were not supposed to win. Cesc Fabregas, I remember, was injured. They petitioned to get him onto the pitch to be able to go and lift the trophy for Arsenal because they were so sure they were going to win it. And then we did what we did. And if you look at the stats, I'm sorry I'm rambling, but if you look at the stats, like, don't get me wrong, Arsenal probably had the better of things, but no way did they batter us or anything like that. We had good possession, good shots on target, good shots off target. So we did so well that day.
I want to go into that bit of disrespect because we had Roger Johnson on the show on Wednesday and he brought it up, didn't he, Tom, just about what you were saying with Fabregas, them turning up in tracksuits as well. Because you sort of hear that external noise of like players buying into that and really riling them up. Was that a real big factor for you that day?
Yeah, we used that massively. Stevie Carr was massive on that. Alex McLeish was massive on that, of basically saying they're not taking this seriously. They think they've already won it. You know, they're already like counting their chickens, thinking they're up there lifting the trophy, whereas we did all the little details, all the prep so well, so well. Even I remember we had all our suits on and we went to the sort of the team meeting before the game at the hotel, and the manager Alex had got all sort of like Scottish heather. He had them all in this. He had them all made special sort of thing with a pin in it, sort of thing. So we all sort of picked them as we came in. We picked one by one, and we were sort of pinning them in all nice. And we all looked absolute $1 million, and it was like real special moment for him. But all the tiny little details, I think we just did better than them on the day. Even I remember when the sort of change room doors open and Stevie Carr's giving this incredible speech, and he's pointing at them and we're all there, like amped up, like absolutely buzzing, like animals, caged animals, kind of. And he's pointing at them and he's saying, "Look, they don't want it. They're kids. They're kids. They don't want this." And we're like,
you don't necessarily need that for a game as big, but you've got to take advantage of it.
You've got to take advantage, because I think not only did we need it, I think they saw that as well.
Yeah.
They saw us doing that and jumping around like caged, and it must have got in their heads a little bit. I'm sure of it. It must have got in their heads a little bit, because, like I say, they've got a team of better players. Every one of them players is probably statistically, monetary-wise, wage-wise, better than all of us, right? But as a team collective, we went out on that pitch and I think we did better than them.
We speak about Ben Rodge. Obviously, it wasn't just the saves. It was obviously his long ball up to the big man Zigic and knocking it down for him.
Yeah.
How good of a teammate was he to be around?
Fozzie was good. Look, keepers are a funny breed.
The best.
They're a funny breed, aren't they? They're not like outfield players. They've got their own little cult. Like, they'll admit it if they're honest. They're a strange crowd. But look, Fozzie was sound. Great guy. Bubbly around the change room. Again, demanded excellence. And wore his heart on his sleeve. And if he made a mistake, he held his hands up. But very good goalkeeper. Very good goalie. Good to have around the place.
I think you need that though, don't you? We all know they're a different breed.
Yeah.
Richie's got a goalkeeping background. He is a different breed, but you need reliability.
You do.
And in Ben, you had that, didn't you?
100%. Yeah, he kept us in countless games that season, and you just, when you get beat, and you do get beat as a defender, you need to know, right, pull me out, like, and Fozzie and Joe had that in abundance, and kept us in a lot of games and saved my bacon a few times. And that's a relationship you need to build, the trust, and certainly had that with Fozzie.
Another man we're speaking to this week is Cameron Jerome. He obviously came on in the final, had a huge impact in that Carling Cup run, but let's hear what he said. Cameron, thank you very much for joining on what is such a special day for us as Blues fans. I wanted to sort of go back in a bit of time before we get to the Wembley appearance. Aston Villa in the quarterfinals. You were there that day. What are your memories?
Yeah, special evening, obviously a derby game under the lights at St Andrews. That's almost the final for us, if you're looking at it in that respect. So, real tough game, obviously home advantage for ourselves, but, just mayhem after that game. Obviously, it's such games of that magnitude are always emotional as well as physical and slightly tactical. So, obviously to come out on top and obviously get into the semi-final was obviously great, and obviously doing it against our biggest rivals in Villa was such a sweet one, because we at that particular moment we didn't have much joy over Villa around about that period. So it was nice to get one over on them for sure.
I was at the game, Cam. It was a wonderful atmosphere, wasn't it? And then when the final whistle goes, it's almost relief as well as excitement getting through against them.
Well, obviously, what it's like in them sort of games, playing in derby games. It's like it is so much of mixture of emotions and relief and stuff like that. And like I said earlier, we used to get unlucky against them. We'd always lose at home by the odd goal. And Bonga just pop up in the 88th minute with a little header. You get stuffed down at Villa Park. So we didn't have the best of times at that period of time. So we was really G'd up for that game. And it's under the lights, like you said, amazing atmosphere. And everything just went our way on the evening.
Can you remember time slowing down when that ball looped up in the air off Ziggy's foot and then over Brad Friedel as it went in front of everyone in the Tilton?
Yeah, it was just, obviously it was really late in the game as well. So, you're just thinking a moment like that is going to win it. It's going to take a little bit of luck or a moment of genius or a mistake from somebody. And, you sort of don't want it to be on the wrong end of one of those sort of things for yourself. So, obviously when it comes off Big Ziggy and you're just looking at it and you're watching the ball go over him slowly and you're thinking, just drop in. And obviously it does. And then, the stadium erupts and it's just the fans start singing the songs and you're just like, okay, we're nearly there.
You've been at Blues for such a long time at that point as well. When you get to the semi-final, is it sort of become really tangible for you that you could win a big trophy for Birmingham during your time here?
Well, yeah, absolutely. We didn't have the easiest of runs up until that point. Anyway, we had quite tough fixtures. I alluded to it not so long ago, saying the Arsenal game for me was probably the easiest game, and it sounds crazy, but in terms of the way we managed the sort of earlier rounds, obviously navigated through that, obviously had Villa in the quarters and then West Ham in the semis. The semi-final was, obviously you got into it over a two-legged game against, a pretty similar opposition in West Ham in terms of where you're both competing in the league in that respect. So, you're thinking, look, you're only one step away from Wembley. Obviously, it's a two-legged tie, but, you've got an opportunity, like you say, to win a major trophy here. And, some players go all their careers about winning it. So, for us boys, that group of boys in particular, getting to the final was one thing. Winning it was another thing, you know what I mean? So, it's obviously such a great moment in any player's career, winning trophies, and obviously for the football club as well to win a major bit of silverware is obviously a special moment, and something you can look back on now. Maybe you don't think about it at the time, but you looking back at it now with immense pride. It's been however many years since they did win it, and hopefully it's not going to be that long until they win another bit of silverware. But just to be a part of that, and you'll always be remembered in that great period.
Cameron, thank you so much. Honestly, it's been great taking a trip down memory lane. Obviously, that amazing time to get us to Wembley. And we look forward to speaking to you soon. I have to get you back down to St Andrews at Nighthead Park.
Yeah, definitely. Planning on coming down and taking a game in at some stage. So, hopefully bump into you guys then. But until then, keep well, boys. Thank you very much.
Lovely.
Brilliant. Cheers, Cam.
Thanks, Cameron. Keep right on.
Pal.
Rog, Cameron Jerome, what was he like as a teammate?
Yeah, good Cammy. I liked him. He would have been disappointed not to start the game, but like you said, he had a massive input in the run. It's disappointing. You hear players like, I think Roy Keane is the most famous one. He didn't play in the Champions League final. As players, if you haven't played, you don't feel like you've won it, do you?
Yeah.
So he would have been disappointed to not start, but massive impact coming on. a massive impact in the whole run. But yeah, Cammy was a good lad. He was a good lad, good to have around the place. Understood the mentality of the senior pros and what was expected of him. But yeah, he scored some important goals over the years when I was at Blues.
Because in that striking core at the time, obviously the lead man who scored that day, Nicola Zigic, an enigma. What was he like away from the field? Was he popping shapes that night in London with you, or was he off somewhere a bit quieter?
Yeah, I liked him. I liked him. He was unique. A good way to put it. Giant of a man. Do I think he should have won more headers? Yes, for the size of him. And he got told that.
It's so diplomatic.
Yeah.
You're really going deep here.
Nah, look, Ziggy was what he was, and look, he got some stick, but ultimately he was there for the lads and would do his best. I think we could have probably got more out of him.
Yeah.
But look, he's a legend at Blues. To get to score in the final was it's massive for him. And look, he was a nice guy, but no, he was not anywhere near London that night.
I'm actually not going to ask where he was because God knows where he was.
Roger, listen, thank you so much for coming in. It's been an absolute pleasure for you to take us down memory lane. Appreciate your time and keep right on.
No worries, pleasure.
Right now it's time for the news, and a huge congratulations to the women's team. They've officially been nominated for the Best Fan Engagement at the 2026 Women's Football Awards, a testament to the incredible connection between the players and us Blue Noses.
It wasn't just off the pitch that they were winning as well. They handed out a massive thrashing to Chatham Town, 8-0 in the Women's FA Cup. A special shout out to Hertro, who bagged herself a wonderful hat-trick, clinical, and she walked away with the match ball.
Richie, not just that as well, we've got a huge tie against Manchester City in the FA Cup quarter-final. Get down to St Andrews at Knighthead Park, make some noise and back the team.
Finally, we've got some movement as well with regards to transfers and the future. Godfred Bouraki, Cameron Eubank and O'Shea Ellis have all headed out on loan this week. Now, we couldn't go without giving a quick shout out to all the Blues mums out there because Mother's Day is just around the corner, Will.
Yes, March the 15th, we've got a very special event at St Andrews at Knighthead Park. We're talking a 2-course meal, a stadium tour and a special gift from the club. Get yourself booked in because it's going to be a great day.
A perfect Sunday. What more could you ask for? Get those bookings in because they are flying.
Yes, I'll get my mother there right away. Back to the action. Let's talk highlights. 8-0 Drummond. Roll the VT.
Lovely step, opening up the space for herself once again. It's not a bad ball in either. Oh, it's completely bamboozled Elegon.
Not sure she meant it, but she'll definitely take it.
That's a lovely ball across, and the lead is doubled for Birmingham. A routine finish tucked in by Surrey.
Lovely weighted ball across the box. Just to slot it past Elegon.
I mean, Elegon's going to have a superb highlight reel, except for that as the defence falls apart, and the architects of their own downfall for Birmingham's third in the end. It's an absolute gift.
Mistake out from the back. They elect to play short. Jeffkins, and it's just an easy one in the end from Herto, can pounce.
Quinn has continued the run, just needs to find a target inside the box. There's only one to aim at the moment, 2 more arriving. Pulled back to the substitute, great touch, super finish. That is the impact you're looking for. Luis able to strike it home.
Nifty footwork, fires it across the goal. Elegon has no chance to make a save.
It's that back line that's proving in difficulty right now. It's unbelievable. If in doubt, she does it again.
Oh, what a hat-trick for Hertler.
Birmingham have got tails up, and they're seeing this now as a perhaps chance to go for the jugular. Quinn sends it in. Took a deflection and pinged around for a moment. That's a poor decision though, and Lee fires it home.
The wind are definitely up the sails for Chatham Town. Lee just fires that strike away.
Ball clear away from the goal kick. Lead hammer this time. Super finish. Lead Hammer rubs salt into the wounds of Chatham Town.
She tucks it into that bottom corner, past Elegon. And that's not what Chatham wanted to see at all.
Louis might have a chance, trying to round the goalkeeper. Done and dusted. 2 for the substitute for Cheva Louis. A second half sensation that saw 7 goals scored by Amy Merrick's Birmingham City. Birmingham City once again are in the final 8 of this illustrious competition.
Tommy, an 8-0 win, fantastic result and through to the next round.
Yeah, which is the key to it. You have to be in the FA Cup into the next round, and to do it with an emphatic scoreline like that is excellent.
Especially off the back of what was a disappointing result as well against the team in Tier 4, and it was only 1-0 at half-time. It was all set up for a potential banana skin, wasn't it?
Yeah, everybody likes a giant killer, except the Giants.
Yeah.
So that was the key to it. It's about how you approach the game mentally and play your normal game against the opposition, no matter who it is. And now it sets up an excellent home tie.
You mentioned that, Tom. It almost goes the other way, doesn't it? Because we've got a quarter-final tie at home to Manchester City. Obviously, their records recently speak for themselves. Does it almost go the other way, where we are trying to beat the Giants?
Well, the mental approach is exactly the same, the way you look at the game, but certainly very, very different in terms of possession, first and foremost. But it's also about putting the ball in the back of the net when you get the chances, and they certainly did that.
Right, full disclosure, it is Wednesday. We're playing Milwall tonight. I'm back off there to get in the away end. We don't know the result, but Richie, through the magic of television, we are now going to show you the highlights of a performance that happened. I don't want to curse it.
Maybe Wagner's left foot, it's into that 6-yard box, it's flicked on, it's headed away by Milwall, only half cleared. Solis picks up left-hand side, snapshot as he cuts inside, gathered by Patterson as near post. That goes down as the first effort on target of the game. It's all hands to the pump for Blues at the back as Milwall look to hit their stride. Kramer finds Aziz, who takes on the effort and beats Beadle from the edge of the penalty area. And Femi Aziz gives Milwall the lead as they look to re-establish their buffer in the top 6. It's a 2-man Blues wall. Aziz steps up to strike and hits the post, and the rebound's turned in. Tristan Kramer adds a second for the hosts. So Aziz with a free kick, he'll float it into the penalty area. It's beyond Cooper. Kramer looking to keep it alive, and Cooper gives Milwall the perfect start to the second half. Within 3 minutes of the restart, the home side are 3 goals to the good.
They can get chances on the break.
And Solis is in trouble here. He's already been booked, and out comes a second yellow card. And Blues 3 goals down, and now within 7 minutes of the restart, a man down, and John Solis.
Looking at the fixture list, it's exciting. It's a bit nerve-wracking as well. The bunch is getting bunchier, isn't it, in terms of all them people getting into the playoffs? It's becoming a real championship season. What do you make of it all?
Well, there's so many teams that will think they've got a chance at the playoff spots, and we have to keep ourselves focused. Yes, we're coming up to the interesting bit, the run-in. It's exactly the same for the players as it is for the fans. It's exciting, but you want to be in good form going into the final games of the season. That's essentially everything we've got to do.
Is there a psychological aspect in terms of how Chris Davies approaches each match with what he delivers to the players? Obviously, yes, there is a build-up to the end of the season, but is it not a case of maybe concentrating on just the next 90 minutes and that's it? Don't think about anything else?
Yeah, it is, and your focus tactically is different depending on the opposition that you're playing against, but it's also about the way that we adapt to games, the way we take the fundamentals of how we play to the opposition, and essentially winning game after game, but you can only do one at a time. And it's that clear focus that I think Chris Davies has spoken about several times. You deal with the next opposition, don't even think about what's coming after that, because you've got to go for this 3 points.
Monday night we'll have Middlesbrough, which feels like one of them nights where it'll be under the lights. We could put a real St Andrews at Knighthead Park performance down. I almost wanted to come a bit full circle, actually, because we're celebrating the Carling Cup victory from 15 years ago. Would you be conscious as a player of, like, you can make history now as part of this run, and you could be part of a team that go to the Premier League and do something we haven't done for 15 years?
Yeah, and I think that's the key focus for the players. You want to leave your footprint within the football club. You know, I think we went and won 12 of the last 13 games when we got promoted initially, and that's the momentum that you want going into the playoffs. Invariably, it's the team who's in the best form wins the playoffs. You have to put yourself in a position where you are that team or certainly very close to them.
How do you find a balance between, obviously we know what's up for grabs, we know what's at stake, versus just concentrate on the next 90 minutes? Surely there's a line to be towed and a balance to be had, because obviously if you focus too far ahead, then everyone can get nervous and not play their usual game, versus also taking it as seriously as it needs to be taken.
Yeah, I don't think players look at, say, they'll look at Milwall, at Middlesbrough. After that, it's none of their concern really, because your focus has to be on the opposition. And I think that's why here at Epic, there's so much work put on the training ground. When you look at how we've set up, how we've adapted to other teams tactically, I think that focus, there's only so much information you can digest. So let's look forward to this next game. And then we know that we'll be doing the same things slightly differently.
Love that. Hey, we've had a good show today, haven't we?
Certainly have. Yeah.
It's been absolutely fantastic. Massive thanks to, I'll forget everybody because it's been that bumper. Thanks to Tommy Mooney, that's a great start. Alex McLeish, Cameron Jerome, Ben Foster, Roger Johnson, you Richard.
Thank you, mate.
That trophy's coming home with me. We'll see you for the next one. Keep right on.